Okay, so here we are gonna do the last tier list for 2025. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Ba, 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 ba. Boom. Here we go. This is the list of movies I watched last year. There's a lot. I think the total number is like 42, 43, somewhere around there. So yeah, this is gonna be a really long video. There is a non-zero chance I might just kinda take a break partway through, just depending on we'll go as we go, but there is a non-zero chance I'll be here for, like, an hour and a half, be like, "Dude, I still have, like, 13 movies, I'm gonna take a break." We'll see what happens. Oh, I didn't even get a thing of water. I'll probably need to get up and get some of that at some point. But going over the basic tier list stuff what the hell was that? Sorry, going over basic tier list stuff. The Double S, this is my favorite movie that I watched this year. I might divide that into a few different categories. Like, here's my favorite animated film, here's my favorite live actions, like, here's my favorite movie from 2025. This is my favorite movie I watched in 2025 from a different year. Like I said, we'll go as we go. S tier, it's a contender to be my favorite. A tier means I loved it. B, I respect it more than I like it. C is like it's fine. D is I feel actively disappointed. F is like it's trash. I actively hate it. I don't know if I will actually have a bottom of the fucking barrel movie. It's why I didn't include the tier. There's some movies I could see like contending for that spot, but overall, I don't think there's going to be one, but we'll see what happens. So, as I very often say, I organize these in alphabetical order, and then when I upload them, they tend to not be. Like, Killer Clowns, for some reason, was after War of the Worlds. Like, that's not right, so I just kinda threw it up here somewhere in the middle. However, alphabetically, A Silent Voice is first, and like I said, I try to put them around, like, C, B at the start, somewhere closer to about the middle of the screen. However, I can't talk about A Silent Voice without first talking about Speed Racer, which is such a weird sentence, but somehow makes perfect sense. So the situation here is I watched both of these movies on the same day because I'd been meaning to watch both of them for quite a while. I believe what happened was Clay and I went to go watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail in theaters, which I don't remember if I actually put it on the list because I've seen the movie before. But it's like, I've never seen it in theaters before. This is a different experience. It's eligible. I just don't remember if it's actually on there. Oops. But to my point, we went to Barnes and Noble and I found a copy of A Silent Voice. And it's a movie I've been meaning to watch for several years. I've heard it's amazing. I've heard it's just this absolute tearjerker. It's beautiful, etc., etc. So I bought it and made a plan at some point soonish I was going to watch it. I had also been meaning to watch Speed Racer for a really long time, and I think the Patrick H. Willems video on the movie finally came out, and I was like, "Okay, I have to watch it." So I think I made a plan on my next day off that I would have a double feature of Speed Racer and A Silent Voice, and I watched Speed Racer first, and I loved it. I feel like the best way I could describe Speed Racer is I I haven't watched a lot of Fast and Furious movies. I feel like I should. I think I've genuinely watched The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, and then Fast 9. Maybe it was like Furious 9. I don't actually remember. Anyways, but the one where they go to space. Um, so like Fast 5, Fast 6, which I've heard are just these really incredible, super fun action movies. Unfortunately, I haven't seen. But it feels like a combination of what I've heard those movies are and Barbie by having this very, like, aggressively pastel kind of, like, look and aesthetic to it that I really like and really get into. Um, Literally right before I started recording, I watched a video, and it's the edit that puts, the top from Initial D into the ending of the climax of Speed Racer. Which is phenomenal, I absolutely love it. It's like, it's already a really good climax, and, again, it's a really fun movie, and it's just, like, this is not part of the actual movie, but I almost consider it to be part of the movie, and it just makes it that much better. Mm. This is like I don't know if it's quite an S tier movie. I'm gonna put it in there. And as the list fills out, we'll see. I might be like, not quite, and I'll probably call some audibles and add like an A plus, an S plus, stuff like that. I feel like this will be around an A plus S kind of tier, which feels right because I had a really good time watching this movie. Um, Silent Voice is not going in S tier; it's going in double S. There is a strong argument that regardless of year, regardless of live action or animation, that this was just straight up my favorite film I watched this year. I have not read the manga. I remember watching a pretty decently long video just kind of going over here's some of the differences between the anime and the manga and like these are why these changes were effective or not as effective and things like that, and I found it quite interesting. But I'm not familiar with the source material, is my point. I bawled my eyes out watching A Silent Voice. I think I cried thrice when watching the movie. There's the scene when I'm trying to remember names. I believe it's Shoya is the name of the main character, and, oh, I can't remember the name of the main girl. Oh, this is bothering me. It's like I love her character, but I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm not always great with names, especially if it was, like, several months ago. But, the first scene that made me cry is when Shoya is talking to his mom when she asks him, like, "Why are you planning to kill yourself?" And he starts answering, and she just breaks down crying, like, "You're not even trying to deny it." And that scene broke my heart because, like, I'll be honest, I've had similar conversations with my own mom, and it's something that hit very close to home. There's a scene, I believe it's after he wakes up in the hospital and Shoko, that's it, because it's Shoya and Shoko. It's like I feel like the two names are really similar. So it's when Shoya meets Shoko on the bridge at night. There I started bawling. It's when Shoko's mom bows to Shoya's mom. That also made me cry. And I remember recording my video on this movie. I think it was the day I watched it. Like I watched it, I was like, I have to go immediately talk about this. If not, it was the day after. But I think it was the same day because I remember it was raining a lot that day, and like I sat down in my car, I was recording, like I cried while recording. And there was a point where the weather just cleared up and like it was like really sunny and it was really pretty. And I think it happened like as I was even talking about it, it's like, like life can get better and it can't get better if you give up, but you have to keep trying and like that happened. It was like such an impeccable moment. I loved it, man. It was one of those little moments where I'm like, dude, that God exists. Like the timing of that was like divine. Um I remember there was a point later in the year, I don't exactly remember when I specifically rewatched the scene with Shoya and his mom because I needed to cry, and I don't remember the context, but something had happened, I wasn't doing okay, and I rewatched that scene, and it made me cry again. Just just phenomenal film. Following up, start quiet off. I know everything. You know tell you how many times Clay and I, since watching this film, just would randomly quote either just like Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled, or some of the variations like Mr. Electric, kill him. Um, or just the get it. I know I've said that a few times. Um, Look, man, Shark Boy and Lava Girl is a film. This is a movie that exists. There are human beings who created this, and one of them was Robert Rodriguez, and I'm so glad he did. Just number one, I love the idea that, like, yeah, this is just, or if I'm remembering it correctly, it's based on either the dreams of his daughter or it's like her own stories, or it's a little bit of both. Like they were inspired by dreams, and then she kind of wrote some stuff down. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna make a fun children's movie based off the literal like dreams and stories of my daughter. And the movie is going to be about dreams and the power that dreams have, and like how weird they can be, but also how much fun they can be, and like how much you can really take from your dreams and stuff like that. I think that's fun and I think that's neat. This movie looks disgusting. Like the effects are so bad. They're fun, but they're oftentimes hard to look at. It's a movie where like the story's fine and the characters are fine and the effects are awful. But also at one point, I don't know, I think Taylor Lautner just like starts breakdancing or something, and it's kind of fun. And anytime Linus or Linus is on screen, dude, anytime George Lopez is on screen, he's having the time of his life. I think this is exactly where this movie needs to stay. Like I respect it more than you know what? I'll give it at least a B plus for just how much it genuinely entertained me. It's like I can at least give it a little bit extra there. So I think that sounds about right. I mean, like it's a B tier movie. It's for sure a B movie. Not to be confused with B. I don't know if you've ever seen the video called "What Could It Be?" And it's like it's something like picture you're looking at a sunflower. And it's just like this big yellow image, and then it zooms out, and it keeps zooming out, and it slowly, surely reveals that it's what's his name, Barry Beebits, and it's like the dude is wheezing with laughter the entire time. Easily one of my favorite videos on the internet. Oh gosh, I don't know how to talk about this movie, man. Okay. There is something incredibly funny to me about like all these movies I watched this year was a non-zero amount. Definitely could have been more, but a strong non-zero amount. And some of these movies I think are absolutely impeccable. And I'm so glad I watched them. You know, there's either from just the quality of the filmmaking or how they affected me on a personal level. I watched like banger after banger after banger. And this was how it started. This was the first movie I watched last year was freaking Cats. Um, you wanna talk about a movie that looks nasty. Just the skin tight fursuits that I hated. Like, oh, dude, when I saw Idris Elba, because I think for a lot of the movie, he's wearing like some kind of coat or something, like hiding his skin tight fursuit, and then he takes it off, and I'm like, bro, like buck naked Idris Elba as a cat is was not on my bingo card or my bucket list. What is this? But there's a scene, and I think he's with when he's with Sir Ian McKellen, and he like uses his McCavity cat magic to like catch him and like trap him in a book. But when he does it, Idris Elba just says his name like a Pokemon, just Cavity, and we had to pause so I could laugh and cackle, and then we rewound it so I could see it again. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. Um, like it's cats. There's a loose plot, but it's mostly just an excuse for singing and dancing. And in the musical, I like the singing and dancing, but then when you have celebrities, it doesn't always work so well. Like Judi Dench as old Deuteron. I dead have to remember a moment where she does like a spread eagle. I was like, dude, if buck naked Idris Elba was not on my bingo card or my bucket list, Judi Dench doing any of this was nowhere near it. What? Oh gosh, it was an experience. But I learned a very, very important lesson from watching Cats. A cat is not a dog. Um, Here's the thing. It's not ever like I respect it more than I like it. It's like I don't even think I can say that. I think this is probably one of the worst films I have ever seen. And I don't know if the entertainment value or just the shock value was enough to justify. Like I think I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I didn't see the butthole cut because apparently that's something that exists somewhere. Like, no, that's too high. That's too high. This feels right, but I'm also like, I don't know, like Cats needs its own tier, I think. And in that case, like, so bottom of the fucking barrel, like, no, it Cats just needs its own like ninth circle of hell. Belongs. So, you know what? We're just gonna send this to the Shadow Realm because I think that's where Cats needs to go. It needs its own tier, which is just the Shadow Realm. Um. Okay. Now C looks to be a bit more like the middle of the screen. No, I think B is still kind of the middle of the screen. Okay. Char's counterattack, CCA. So I have watched this movie multiple times this year. I believe I've seen it twice, maybe thrice. The first time I saw it, I I had finished Zeta Gundam. I had not yet started Double Zeta, and I had just gotten back from my trip, and, like, the timing was, like, very perfect where, like, I made it back, and I think the next day CCA was in theaters. So I got to see it, and I didn't like it. I The problem I had with CCA is it just didn't feel like any of the stuff I was watching felt I don't know if natural is the right word. It felt like a lot of shit just kind of happened out of nowhere off screen, and I was just supposed to accept it. Like, "Oh, yeah, dude, like, Char is now, like, in charge of the, like, Neo Zeon." I think that's what it's called. Like, Neo Zeon. Like, "Okay, I can believe that. I assume that means he survived the ending of Zeta, but, like, I can believe that, and I can believe this happened too. Okay. Yeah, he also is just like, "I'm just gonna kill everybody on the Earth." Okay. I think I missed something because this didn't feel like the character I left at the end of Zeta. So what happened? And then also, there's a lot of focus on newer characters like Kess, who I didn't like and just found really annoying. And was like, so, like, this whole movie about Char and Amuro and like their final confrontation. They're almost like Amuro feels like a side character in his own movie. Kess is kind of the main character. If not her, it's actually Mr. Asnablaster. So, like, what is this? What are we doing? Then I watched Double Zeta, which doesn't lead into CCA, but I watched it, kind of took some time, and then I rewatched Char's Counterattack. And rewatching it, I still have some problems and some concerns, but watching it a second time, and I think partially now knowing the movie I was getting into, helped me appreciate it a lot more. And at least where Double Zeta is concerned, watching a show about new types, where most of the main cast are new types, some cyber, some most of them not, and just how volatile they can be, made me kind of appreciate and understand Kess a lot better. And really what her role in the story is this is a civilian. I mean, I guess you could say she's not technically a civilian when like she's the daughter of a big politician. But this is an innocent young girl caught in the middle of this big power play. Like how a lot of people are just caught in the middle of what Char is doing. And it also just shows how cold he is. It's like here is someone that really likes him and is really looking up to him and all of that. Gosh, there's that one. Oh, sorry, my ears are turning. But there's that one scene where I think she runs in. She's like, "Am I just a replacement for Lala?" And then everyone just turns to look at her. Cracked me up. But you see the way that Char is able to use her and manipulate her and clearly just does not care about this person, which I think is very fitting for the way he's characterized in CCA. Like it's I will there's still some bits where I'm like, I think there's a couple leaps I have to make here for this plot to work or make sense. But having time to think about it, those leaps were easier to make than I thought. I still don't particularly like Hathaway. Like I can at least like understand Kess, and I actually find her to be pretty interesting. Hathaway I just found kind of annoying. Um let's see. Is there anything else I really want to say about it? Like I don't think so. Although I have read I've read a translation of the interview that Tomino has with Ano about the film. And I love how Tomino's just like, yeah, people say this movie's phenomenal. It's like the greatest thing ever. Like, no, it's fine. Like, I actually think my movie is like okay. It's not even that good, but if everyone loves it, everyone loves it. That's all I'm gonna talk about from the interview. If you know, you know. But there's some interesting parts. Um, I wouldn't put it below a B. I definitely wouldn't put it in S. I don't even think I would put it in. I honestly feel like I kind of have it in a B tier, where I respect the movie a lot. I probably do respect it more than I like it, but I don't feel like I can put it in this. I can't put it below Shark Boy and Lava Girl. So as much as I was like, I'm gonna put this in a B plus for its entertainment value, I think this feels more fair. This is definitely a B film. This I don't know if I like CCA enough to actually put it in A tier with just the real problems I have. Maybe. Mm, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But that feels right adjacent. Okay. All right. Hold up. If I'm gonna talk about a Wizard of Oz movie, let me get the trilogy ready. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Because I watched 3 Wizard of Oz adjacent films last year. Number 1 was, well, The Wizard of Oz. But specifically, I listened to it while listening to Dark Side of the Moon for the first, how long is Dark Side of the Moon? Like 40 minutes, 42 minutes, something like that. Which I'd never done before. I've heard about it. It's like this great experience. There's all these moments that like sync up and blah 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 blah. As for that experience, I think honestly, I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I don't think it's intentional by any means because I think there's way too many parts that don't sync up, but there's a nice good amount. I think my favorite is just during the Twister scene when Great Gig in the Sky is playing and, like I can't even do the vocals, but just like as the vocals are getting more intense and dramatic, is when the wind is like really picking up and you can just feel how frantic it is and how scared Dorothy is. Like that part is awesome. I think there's the part where I'm trying to remember now. What was it? It's when she's talking to the wizard when he's a human. I don't remember what his name is at that point. Like marvelous Mr. something, magical Mr. Mistopheles. Look, I talked about cats a bit ago. When she's talking to magical Mr. Mistopheles, and he's looking at the crystal ball about like her home. I think that's when the home part of time started playing, or was right about to. Given that the Twister's right after and the Great King of the Sky, I think it was the home part of time. It's like that worked out really well. Just when she gets into Oz, money starts playing. It was like, okay, in a sense, like that's kind of the money shot. Like when you see the color, like I guess I can see that working. Boom, 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 boom. I do particularly like the last bit of the soundtrack you hear is like this heartbeat, and it's when they're trying to find the heartbeat on the Tin Man. It there's a lot of little bits where I can see why people do this, and I'm very glad I did this. Again, do I think it's intentional? No, but I think it's cool and I think it's fun. And also the way I see it is like so I watched one of the most classic beloved films of all time and listened to one of the most classic beloved albums of all time. And they kind of go together surprisingly well. Yeah, this was great. Why wouldn't I put that in S tier? Return to Oz. There we go. So I'm like, look, man, I don't think I could put CCA in the same tier as Return to Oz. And if I can't have that in the same tier as Shark Boy and Lava Girl, okay, that feels better. Dude, I loved Return to Oz. And I don't know if I would say it's an S tier movie for me, but I had so much fun watching it. I loved seeing this really dark version of Oz where the Tin Man's now made of stone and the Lion's made of stone. You have the Wheelers who are these absolute freaks and um oh, what was his name? Like the stone golem king dude. I can't remember off the dome. I also don't remember the name of the one without the head. But they were great antagonists. Just that whole bit when Dorothy is in the manor, there's all the screaming heads. Absolutely fantastic. And the Gnome King, that was a just the way the Gnome King talks to her. Like polite, friendly, cordial, and just mockingly condescending the entire time. Like he's so punchable, but he's so fun. And I really like the companions in this movie. Like I like TikTok a lot. I like Jack. What was the name of the like weird moose thing? I say it started with a G, but I don't know if that was right. Was there another companion? I don't. Oh yeah, and like the chicken. She lays an egg in the gnome king's mouth. He's like, I'm definitely allergic. It explodes. Um, the deadly desert. Dude, I remember when they first get into the deadly desert. She's like, no, like if I touch it, I'll die, and like I gotta, hop across the rocks. Like that is 100% shit that I would do when playing as a kid. This movie gets this movie is awesome. Oh, like I loved it. I sincerely loved it. You know what I sincerely didn't love? Wicked 2. Wicked for good, or as I like to call it, Wickeder. So I know the Oscar nominations recently came out, and this movie it got snubbed. It got literally nothing, and Okay. I don't know if should have gotten snubbed on, like, costumes or the score or anything like that, but I really hated this movie. It's important to say, I have not read Wicked. I have not watched the musical. Oh, excuse me. My familiarity is I know the film The Wizard of Oz, which this is definitely very connected to. I am aware of some of the songs, and I've watched the first movie. So I didn't really know what was going to happen in this movie. And as it went on, I was like, "Oh, yeah, so this is why people don't talk about the second half. This is messy, and this doesn't work, and, like, I love Michelle Yeoh, but she cannot sing. I love Jeff Goldblum, but he cannot sing. Um, what costume is that for the Scarecrow? Like, he looked bad. Maybe that's why they were nominated for costumes. They're like, "Dude, this one looks like shit. We ain't going that direction." I don't know. Um, like, the whole scene with the creation of the Tin Man was so jank. And at the very end of the movie with Michelle Yeoh being defeated, I'm like, "Wait, what? Why did it happen like that?" Because doesn't she actually have, like, power and magic? Because it's not like Glinda does, so why are you afraid of her all of a sudden? Like, none of this movie makes sense, and not in a way that, like, The Wizard of Oz or Return to Oz or, like, Alice in Wonderland doesn't make sense, where it's, fun and it's kinda part of the, like, you're in another world and weird things happen, you kinda gotta deal with it. It doesn't make sense in a, "Why is anyone making the decisions that they're making?" Like, to quote Toy Story, "Did you all take stupid pills this morning?" Like, that's how it feels watching Wicked 2. And, like, look, Cats belongs in the shadow. Wickeder is not a movie like that, but I think I like it less than Cats because Cats is just weird and disturbing and it shouldn't exist. And the world is a better place because it's here and a worse place because it's here at the same time. To me, this was just not good. Is it a bottom of the fucking barrel movie? Because I really didn't like it, man. There's an argument for that. I don't know if I'll go that far. Because I'd even said at the top, I was like, I don't know if there's a bottom of the fucking barrel movie. Like, it can't be Cats. Like, that feels too easy and inauthentic. Wicked 2. Oh, no, no, no. I just remembered. I just remembered. There is a bottom. Oh, sorry. Hold up. That was an accident. There is a bottom of the fucking barrel movie this year. I know exactly what it is, and I'm so glad I remembered. It's not. Oh, sorry. It's not Wickeder. I don't like this movie. I am putting it in F tier, and I don't think that's really for discussion. I'll even say there's not going to be like an F plus, F minus. F is F. But there is something that goes here, and it ain't dolls. um. So there's a friend of mine who really enjoys this movie, and she recommended it, and I am so glad she did because I had a blast watching it. This is like an old 80s, maybe late 70s. I think it's an early 80s horror movie. I believe it came out like before Child's Play did. I don't know how much of it inspired Chucky or if it's just, kind of came out around similar times. But it is about like husband, wife, and daughter, but this is like the girl's stepmom are going on a vacation and they both treat their daughter like absolute shit. And there's this one scene, there's a lot of scenes from this movie that like live in my head rent free. But this one in particular where I think the stepmom like takes her teddy bear and just like tucks it into the woods And then the girl just imagines like the bear getting bigger, coming to life, and murdering her stepmom. I don't remember if it murdered the dad too. And she's like, and then the bear with like blood on its face just goes, I was laughing so hard. Like, okay, we're like 5, 10 minutes in, and this has happened. I'm in for a great time, and I absolutely was. I think my favorite part of the movie, aside from that, because I think a lot of the doll designs are fun. Some of the deaths are pretty good. I think it's the stepmom in particular. Is like that was super violent. This is awesome. But it's gotta be when the dad is taking on Mr. Punch, and I think he has like he's holding like a sledgehammer. Just like, that's how he enunciates it. The delivery had me in stitches, and then he just drops the sledgehammer, just shatters this doll. Um, just great time, absolute blast, no notes. Hmm. Like it's not an S tier movie. I feel like oops. Like I don't think I can put it an S. I would probably put it like A, B plus. Like it's definitely a B movie. No, but I genuinely enjoyed it. I would put it an A. Maybe I'll audible into an A minus, but I think I'll keep it at A. And while I'm talking about like B horror movie, like fun 80s movies, let's go ahead and just throw in Killer Clowns in the same tier. This movie's great. I had an absolute blast watching this movie. There is one scene in this movie that I can think of that is genuinely legitimately creepy, and it's when Jumbo, I believe is the name of the clown. It's when he's got the police chief makes him into a dummy, which is, a great foreshadowing because early he's like, "You man, make a dummy out of you, but they won't make a dummy out of me," and like, literally does that. And he just has him say, "Don't worry, Dave. All we want to do is kill you." As he then just like rips his hand out of the dude's corpse and it just falls. Genuinely like a creepy, chilling moment. Um, a line from this movie that I feel like I have started quoting on a regular basis. So it's during a montage of clowns just going around and like zapping people and shit. And they deliver pizza to this one woman's house. And she just opens the door, and then there's the clowns holding a pizza box, and she goes, "Pizza." And it's that line delivery of being so thoroughly unimpressed with a free pizza. I now think about it anytime I eat pizza. Like literally yesterday, I was because we got a bunch of snow last night, and I don't know if it's still snowing. I know I saw it snowing a little bit earlier. I know we're gonna be getting even more throughout the day. So yesterday and the day before, I made sure to go to the store, try to load up on a bunch of different food. My mom hooked me up with some breakfast food. Thank you, mom. Shout out, I really appreciate that. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get some frozen pizzas, heat them up. It'll give me like a couple meals as well, in addition to some other stuff. And as I'm heating up one of the pizzas, because there wasn't enough room in the freezer for all three, I'm like, let me go ahead and heat one of them up right now. And I'm immediately just thinking, pizza. It's just lived in my head rent free. That's not even getting into like the shadow puppet scene, which I think is really, really cool. That's not getting into the oh yeah, the pie. What are you gonna do with those pies, boy? That might actually be the best line in the film. This movie rules. I really loved it. Hmm. I think I'm gonna call a slight audible because I think I want to put Dolls more A minus because I don't think I liked it as much as Return to Oz or Killer Clowns, but I still really enjoyed it, and I think I would still keep it above just a B tier movie. Because I don't think I want to move either of these two into S, unless I want to bump them up to like A plus, maybe. I don't know. Again, like we're calling audibles. We'll figure it out. I feel like when we're done with the list, I will take one last look and go, okay, do I want to mess with anything else? Like, is Speed Racer? No, that's Spade Racer. Come on. I don't know if Spade Racer's gonna start at S or is it stay at S. We'll see. Um, Elio. So this is the Pixar movie that came out last year. Was there another Pixar movie that came out last year? I don't think so. I think it was just Elio. No, I think like Elio came out, and then I almost said Zoolander. Zootopia came out, which is not Pixar. That's just straight up Disney. Was there another Disney film? Moana 2 might have been last year, but I haven't seen it. And I know there were some DreamWorks movies that came out, but I haven't seen Dogman. I've heard good things. I haven't seen Kung Fu Panda. I've heard mixed things. I also don't know if that was last year, or the year before, because like the last few years of the Dogman, Kung Fu Panda 4, Megamind 2, and Bad Guys 2, and I haven't seen. Oh, there's also like the Chicken Run sequel, and I haven't seen any of those. So unfortunately, I am quite behind on DreamWorks. I don't even know if I want to count Megamind 2 because like it's more of like a beta pilot to a show. And if I could avoid watching it, I think I just want to do that. But I know there's some other ones that I've genuinely missed out. I've heard either mixed or genuinely good things on. But I did watch Elio. Apparently, I'm one of the like 30 people that actually saw this movie. And I'm genuinely glad I did. I thought this is a movie that like I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna call a quick timeout. I'm gonna actually get up and get some water. Okay. Water required. So I like the look of the film. Like I think the animation's beautiful. I think the colors are beautiful. Whenever you're getting to near the end of the movie and they start doing like the horror elements with Elio, I thought that was really cool and really fun. I like the antagonist quite a bit because I like his relationship with his son. And that there's a line he has in this movie that has lived in my head rent free since I watched it, which is I don't always, I might get the line slightly wrong, but it is something close to I may not always understand you, but I always love you. And I really like that. Like that one really left an impression on me. There are definitely parts in the movie, especially early on, where I'm like, okay, so like we're doing this. Like, I don't know, it's okay, it's fine. Excuse me. But I think the movie does find its footing, and I think it gets better as it goes along, and I did really enjoy it by the end. Um, I mean, I definitely would put it above Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I think I'd put it above CCA. I actually might put it up in A minus. I was thinking this is probably more of a B tier movie. I'm like, I think it's lingered and stuck around with me long enough that I would want to put it around here, and I don't mind leaving it next to Dolls, although I enjoyed them for different reasons. I think that kind of works out. Eddington. I don't think it's leaving the B tier. And it's kind of getting into that same problem of do I really want I don't know if I want to put it in the same tier as fucking Shark Boy and Lava Girl. But to me, this is the literal definition of I respect this movie way more than I like it. Because Eddington was so thoroughly unpleasant to watch. Like it's in 2024, I almost said last year, it's not technically correct. I watched Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon is a really, really great film. I hated watching it because of how thoroughly unpleasant it was. I was glad I saw it, but was also like, man, I don't think I ever want to watch this again. But I am so glad that it was made and that it exists. Eddington, to me, isn't as like gripping or as captivating as Killers of the Flower Moon, but is just as unpleasant. I think by the time the movie was over, I could count on one hand the amount of characters I felt like I genuinely still cared about, even if a character had died. I was like, yeah, I guess, let me put it like this. I didn't feel invested in what was happening because I didn't care about these people for various reasons. Maybe a couple of them are like, well, this guy's just kind of an asshole. This guy's I almost like him, but yeah, he's definitely an asshole. Like this person just like you were genuinely like a vapid, empty. I'm using the word vapid a lot. I'm a fan of it, but nothing really felt authentic. I guess I just didn't enjoy it. I respect it. I respect the vision, but I didn't enjoy it. So I think this does. I mean, it stays in B. It's not leaving the B tier. It's just how does this affect Shark Boy and Lava? I don't care. That's also a B tier movie. They're B tier movies for different reasons. I can do that. Okay. Now we can go through the Final Destination films. Yeah. Okay. Let me try to do this relatively quick because I don't think I did a video for each movie, but I did do a video talking about the entire series. I might have done Bloodline separately, but then I did. Let me go talk about every movie. I want to talk about every death. This is what I think of them. Blah 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 blah. Short version. This is probably one of my favorite movies of all time because it is something that left a profound impact on me when I was about 8 years old, and that has lingered like forever. I have a lot of love for Final Destination. I have a lot of respect for Final Destination. Final Destination 2. I'd probably put it here, and I'm gonna put 3 right next to it because I feel like I like 2 and 3 about the same. I think 2, I like the cast a lot, and I think the deaths are cool. I just really hate what this film does with its legacy characters because I would have liked to have seen more of Alex. I definitely would have liked to see Clear not go out the way that she did. And it's really the last Final Destination movie to have legacy, like aside from Bloodsworth, obviously. I don't love that, but I really love the rest of the film. Actually, I don't know. No, no. Those don't go in A minus. They go straight up in A. Like I really like them. And then 3, I think the character. Like when I say the cast, I generally mean characters, not the actors. That's my bad. I feel like the characters in 3 are a bit more hit or miss. On the whole, I feel like I like them fine, but I really like Wendy and Kevin. I think the deaths are this to me is when the deaths start to become a bit more Looney Tunes. Like this one, they're taken very seriously. Here, there's definitely some of the more like goofy setup, like him getting crushed by like a glass pane. Like that was straight out of Looney Tunes. But I don't know. It's like 3 is when it definitely feels like we are becoming a lot more goofy and we're embracing it. And I don't mind that. I have a good time with it. The Final Destination, or Final Destination 3D, or Final Destination 4, or the single worst film I saw this year. Like, it was terrible. Hated it. I thought the effects were awful, especially because they're doing the 3D shit. I'm like, this looks awful and it's obnoxious. Great. I did not care about our characters. Like, do I want to see these people die? Not necessarily, but they're not really endearing me to them. one of the big things in this movie is like, hey, like if we can break death's chain, maybe we can break the whole thing. I'm like, guys, what? That's not how this works. Like, this is the fourth movie. And granted, this is y'all's first time being part of this, but as someone who has watched these movies, I know that's not how it works. So I'm basically watching characters try to do something to save themselves that I know isn't going to work. And you can always make that argument. It's like, that's what's going to happen in Final Destination. They're trying to figure things out. They don't know if they can save themselves or not, but there's generally some kind of plan. In the first movie, we don't know what's happening. Can we survive our turn? The second movie is part of that. And then it's hey, I'm having this vision of this weird thing. And then Bloodsworth's like, new life can beat death. There's maybe a way out of it. Let's see if it works. And by the end of the movie, for the people left, it works. And Bloodlines confirms, yeah, it straight up did. At least for Kimberly, they don't talk about Burke, but I am assuming like Burke is fine because death never targeted him specifically in Final Destination 2, which I think, like, obviously aside from the pilot. 3 is we can use the photos to predict how we're gonna die and just save each other. And that does work. And then by the end of the movie, it's like, well, Death's now not taking any chances. And it's what makes it so tragic. And just that scene where Wendy has the vision and it gets back to her, and there's just a tear going down her face. Like, oh crap, that's like impactful. So what are they doing in 4? Well, there's I keep having mini visions of deaths so I can prevent them, but then I don't because I'm kind of bad at this. Okay. But what's the other thing? Like, how are you going to save people? I don't know. But like, if we save one person, everything will be fine. No, it's not. That's literally not how this works. So this, even just the actual deaths, I don't think are that good, and a lot of it is because the effects are so bad, and like the McKinley Raceway, just like disaster looks awful, and oh boy, it's just fucking bad. 5. This is an S tier movie. I love Final Destination 5. I think they do a much better job with the cast. I think like it does another thing where it's like if you kill somebody if you kill somebody, you get their lifespan. So if you kill somebody who's got a lot of time left, you take yourself off the list. And that's really interesting. Excuse me. And I felt like for the first time in a while, I felt really endeared to the cast. Yeah, some of them are like kind of awful. Like, I don't remember his name, but the guy who gets killed in the like massage parlor, it's like, yeah, not a great guy. Like, was it like Isaac? Dude, the scene where like their boss is eulogizing all the people that died and says his name, he's like, wait, me, I'm still alive. It was really funny. 5 is really, really good. And I would put Bloodlines. I feel like I kind of want to put it in the same tier as these two. But yes and no. It's like I think it has one of the best casts. Again, in terms of how much did I care, the empathy that I had, really good cast. I think the deaths are all right overall, with the MRI machine being the one that really lives in my head rent free. Its take on the rule, because even the whole thing, I'm like, wait, so new life beats death, but also like someone who was going to die having a child, that is not new life beating death. So we're keeping the old rule, but we're also retconning the rule. Okay. I don't know how much I buy that, but sure, whatever. But then I'm also like, wait. At the start of the movie, when you've got this is what happened to the Skyview, this is what happened with Iris. So there's Iris, her husband, and her unborn child, which we know is Howard. That means, at least to me, Howard is part of what happened that day. So if you're trying to say all the people that shouldn't exist, okay, so let me try to articulate this better. Death is trying to undo all these loose ends because there's a lot of people that shouldn't exist. And if Iris had 2 kids after she was supposed to have died, those kids should not have existed. So, Alyssa's got to take care of all of them. Okay, cool. I get that. But if she was pregnant with Howard at the time, then to me that says Howard is actually on the list as is kind of his own life. So, from that perspective, Iris should have died, and then it should have went to Darlene and deleted her from the list, and then went to Howard. Because Howard is like his own entity on the list. It's got to go to Iris, then, cut off all the like branches from the tree. But to go even further than that, Paul, which I believe is the name of Iris's husband, he was also on the list, and he died before Iris did, which means when Paul died, it then should have went, okay, what are all the branches from Paul's tree? And then started chopping them down. So if he is the paternal grandfather of, I guess, the paternal father of both Howard and Darlene, and paternal grandfather of all their children, when he died, that's when it should have went and like taken care of Howard and his line and Darlene and her line. My point being, I really like Bloodlines. I really like the characters in Bloodlines. But I am the kind of person who, like, if you're gonna start including a rule system, especially if it's a rule system that messes with a previously in place rule system, I'm gonna really scrutinize it. And I don't think it really holds up under scrutiny. Do I still enjoy the movie? Oh yeah, I think it's great. But like 2 and 3, as much as I really like it, I do have some problems with it. So I think I kind of want to leave it in that same tier. But I think in my personal rankings, I do go 1, 5, 6, 2, and 3. And then 4 is just absolute trash. Although if I do have it in a ranking above them, arguably I should put it in a different tier. So maybe I will make it A+ tier. Maybe I should put them in the A- tier, but yeah, we'll kind of figure it out. You're gonna have to spend 5 nights at Freddy's 2. Oh boy, what do I think of FNAF 2? So, I guess to keep it relevant, gosh, we're already an hour in and we still have how many fucking movies to go over? Non-zero amount, great. Okay, I might try to just speed run some of these, which I feel like I say all the time, and then I still end up, talking, going on tangents. So, FNAF 2. The animatronics look amazing. I think the human story is fine. I think it mostly works. And Skeet Ulrich's Henry gives a really genuine performance, and I was surprised at how like invested I was getting in FNAF 2. The ending is a mess, and a lot of it I just don't think worked. But I really like some of the stuff they did with the puppet, and it's the marionette, but I am just used to calling it the puppet. I will probably always call it the puppet. I really like it. That last bit at the end, not the like Springtrap shit, like that was cool, that was fine. But with what's his name? With Mike being like, "Hey, I know you just told your brother you're we're your family and not him, but stay away from me and my family." Like, I get it. It doesn't work. I remember my buddy was like, "Yeah, like me and my wife went to go see the movie. We saw it in a big crowd, and the crowd started booing at the end because it was terrible. So we joined in and started booing." Like, yeah, the ending sucks. But I had a good time with it overall. I'm glad I saw it. But I think this feels like a B tier kind of film. I don't think I'm gonna move it. Yeah, it's just gonna go an F. I thought this movie sucked. I really did. The moment at the start of the movie when I really don't remember names, so I'm just gonna say Marlon Wayans. So like, yeah, Marlon Wayans is the greatest QB of all time. You know, he's won 8 championships. I immediately started laughing. I was like, you picked 8 because Brady has 7. You specifically to make him the greatest dude ever in this universe. You had to make him one better than the GOAT in this world. And like the fact that Brady has 7 is so insane, anyways. And there's a lot that you can kind of say about it. It's like, you know, how much of that was on Tom, how much of that was just playing with elite defenses. And there's arguments for both ways. There's arguments for like a whole lot of stuff when you start dissecting sports and getting into GOAT debate. But from the gun, I kind of couldn't take it seriously. And as the movie went on, I just found myself almost completely unable to take it seriously. I didn't find it that interesting. I didn't find it that funny. I didn't find it that fun to watch. I remember when it was over, one of my friends I saw it with just kind of went like, huh, okay. And we were talking about it, how the movie's only about an hour and a half, maybe an hour 40, and it felt like a 2-hour movie and not in a good way. It was just messy and I didn't like it. I really, really didn't like it. Um, Labyrinth. Labyrinth is a lot of fun. It's a movie where David Bowie says with a straight face, "Nothing, tra la la," and it's great. The music is a lot of fun. The sets are a lot of fun. The puppet designs are a lot of fun. I don't remember his name, but there's the one little puppet dude who's like always riding a dog named Ambrosius, and I just love the way he says like Ambrosius. Um, oh, what are the other two? There's Ludo, who is the like really big, almost like dog-like guy, and was Hoggle the name of the like goblin dude who's afraid of the bog of a turtles? Like, here's the thing, Labyrinth. It's kind of like what I was saying about Wicked, like about Wickeder. Like, this is a movie that doesn't make sense and not in the man, a person's in another world and this other world is weird kind of way, which I like. And that's the kind of movie Labyrinth is. Labyrinth is a ton of fun. I don't know, I'll probably just gonna put it an A. I don't even think these should be an A minus. Fuck it. They're just gonna be A. I'm just gonna delete this tier. I'm not gonna believe in an A minus. If I liked it, I liked it. We can maybe give A pluses. We're not gonna give minuses there. Mission Impossible 8? Yes, this is the final reckoning because it was Dead Reckoning Part 2. And then I think they just went, if we say it's a part 2, people might not go see it because I don't know, maybe it was Dead Reckoning 1 didn't do as well because it was called Part 1. And so they just cut it out. I actually don't remember this movie super well. I remember liking it fine. I remember enjoying the big set piece at the end, like on the biplanes, but also thinking, I don't know, like, didn't we do something like this pretty similarly in other movies? Like where Tom Cruise like running after a plane, he gets onto a plane. That's like the start of I think 5, or there's all the cool helicopter stuff in 6, and like the jumping out of a plane getting struck by lightning, and I think that was also 6. This is a really cool stunt, but I've maybe seen bigger and better. So it's not that I don't want to be like, oh man, he only like was dealing with a biplane as it was moving. Like, this is boring. Like, this is cool, but I don't know if it quite topped the previous film for me. Or like some of the previous films. Like, I still think the Burj Khalifa is my favorite stunt in the series. Uh, I'm sorry, I just actually don't remember the movie super well, but I remember liking it at least enough. And I'm like, it's probably here. Maybe it's up here, but because I don't remember it as well, I think I'll keep it in B plus. Okay. Playtime is a French I'm just sorry. I'm just laughing, like genuinely remembering bits from this movie because the part that like I the water. My favorite moment from Playtime is there's this like group that has developed the silent slamming door, where you can slam a door and it makes no noise. And they're very proud of this. They have like patented this technology and blah blah blah, and they're afraid that someone is trying to steal it. And so there's a bit where a dude just like goes into their booth, sits down, looks through their stuff, takes some folder, like takes some files, and he leaves. And then later, another character, I believe it was Monsieur Hulot, who showed up afterwards, and they thought he was the guy that stole from them. And so they kind of just start doing a bit and they start yelling at him, calling him a thief, calling him a fraud. And then they slam the door with all of this rage and it makes no noise. And that bit had me laughing so hard. And then you get the restaurant that is open too early, like as it's still being put together. And there's so many bits where like they're still gluing the tiles on the dance floor, or like there's the one dude who like messes up part of his uniform. So other people who are like, oh yeah, like I messed up part of mine. Can I borrow your shoes? Oh, can I borrow your pants? And he just starts looking worse and worse. There's the door that shatters, but the doorman still stands there, like holding the doorknob and just moves so people can enter the building. Oh shoot. That was a combination of me laughing too hard and also, with the weather change, my asthma's gonna be acting up a bit. Um, I'm sorry, like if I'm gonna be laughing that hard at a movie, I have to put it in S. Playtime's great. I can't recommend it enough. Shin Godzilla. Oh boy. So remember how in 2024 Clay and I were like, we're gonna watch all the Godzilla movies? And we got through the Showa era, which is the most amount of movies. And they were like, all right, we're going to take a break. This is the only one we watched in 2025. We saw it in theaters. It was really cool. It was really fun. I think we went on my birthday, or it was like right around my birthday. So I think N7 paid for my ticket as like my birthday present. Um, I like Shin Godzilla a lot. On the one hand, I think the focus on like this is the government responding to it, and this is all the bureaucracy and all the red tape, and how that really doesn't help when you're dealing with a giant monster attack. I actually find that really interesting and pretty compelling. And seeing all these different forms of Goji as it's transforming and adapting, I think is really cool. The scene where he first uses the atomic breath at night, I love it. I think it looks really cool. Jin is definitely one of my favorite Godzilla movies. I don't think I'd put it in S. I think I'd put it in A. Okay. I think I am gonna end up making an A plus tier because I feel like I want to put Shin Godzilla in A plus. And there's a chance that some of these might end up getting moved down to A plus. I might go ahead and put Bloodlines in A plus, and I think I want to put Killer Clowns in A plus. I think I want to put Return to Oz in A plus. Okay, I think this feels and looks a bit more right and correct. Okay, so apparently Oscar nominations have come out. I talked about how Wicketer got blanked. Sinners apparently set a new record with 16 nominations. And the way I learned that was a friend of mine, it was my buddy N7. He sends me a text that's just, if it were up to me, I would have given Sinner 17 nominations. And then it just cuts to that scene of Get Out with the main character talking to his girlfriend's dad. Like, I got a good laugh out of it. I really appreciated it. I'm not gonna waste anyone's time, dude. Sinners is here at worst. If I'm being honest, it's like up here. I think this movie kicks ass. I went into the movie knowing what it was, knowing that it's a vampire film. I didn't know who the vampire was going to be. All I knew is this is a vampire movie, and it's like it takes place in. I think I knew that took place in like 1930s America. I didn't know how much of the movie was not going to be vampire related. And I loved it because A, I was genuinely invested in just this period piece drama, but two, yeah, knowing what's going to happen, like I had that sense of dread. And like I really like a lot of these people, man. I don't want to see this happen to them. And the scene at the juke joint when Preacher Boy like does that when he plays the song and it's this glorious one take and you've got musicians of all these different eras and all these different cultures like this genuinely it's like I saw this in IMAX like this is cinema like it's scenes like this these are why I go to movie theaters. This is why we can't just do stuff on streaming. Because yes, it's still a good scene, even if you watch it on a smaller screen, but it is not going to hit you the same way. And also, just the giant Irish jig. That was also really good. Like, I didn't know that Michael B. Jordan was going to be playing two roles. And so when that first happens, I'm like, wait, what? That, what? I was not expecting this, but dude, it's so good. I really love this movie. Um, what is this? Oh, this is oh, I can't remember what it's Stop Making Sense. That's it. It's the Talking Heads musical film. There's the concert film that I watched after listening to all the Talking Heads albums, which I really liked, and I really liked this too. So I'm probably just also good. Like, yeah, Talking Heads, it's good shit. It's an A tier. I don't think there's really much else to say. Superman. I'm gonna talk about both of you two together. 'Cause I think these were the only superhero films I watched this year. Was anything else here a superhero movie? No. Okay, cool. So these are the two superhero movies I watched this year. I watched Superman, James Gunn's Superman, the start of the new DC universe. This is what their second, maybe third attempt at one. And then Fantastic Four, First Steps. Oops. I loved. Um, this is a movie I watched with a group of friends, and I had just a really good time. And yeah, part of it was like I'm in a theater watching it with a group of friends and all these other people, and you can just feel the crowd getting into it. Like when you see Superman flying, when you see him punch shit, but also when you just see him be Clark and you get to see him be human and I grew up not liking Superman because I thought Superman was boring. Because it's like, look, I mean, unless you have a special green rock, he's basically invincible. He's got all of these powers, all of this other shit. Like, I don't find him that interesting. And as I've grown up and I've become more aware of his character and how people like, I don't want to say how you're supposed to write him, but how you're supposed to write him. Clark has become one of my favorite superheroes. I might actually like him more than Bruce. And it's because of how even though he's literally an alien, he is a fundamentally human person. And like those moments where he's just with Ma and Pa Kent are some of my favorite things in the movie. Or when he says that, yeah, baby being kind is the real punk rock. I loved it, man. I sincerely, absolutely loved it. To me, I mean, it would almost feel wrong not putting Superman in S, but like I have to put him there. Fantastic Four, I couldn't put it in S, but I would put it in A because I also had a good time watching it. Like, just from what I understand, a good amount of Galactus was not CG, it was just like a dude in a suit. There's something really funny to me about that, especially because of all the Godzilla movies I've seen. I would love to see Rubber Suit Godzilla versus Rubber Suit Galactus. Like the scene where there's the big chase scene in space with like the collapsing star. I thought that was awesome. That was a scene where like I am really glad I saw this movie in theaters because that kicked ass. Not long before I saw this movie, I I was doing research. I was doing research for a book, and I was looking into different kinds of aesthetics, and I learned about ray gun gothic and all these other kinds of like aesthetic names. And I just really like how that sounds. That's just a real fun name for an aesthetic to me. And it's like, oh, that's what this movie is. This is what Ray Gun Gothic is. Like, I can appreciate this slightly more because I know what it's called. Yes. And I don't know, like I just also liked seeing this family and I liked seeing the way they interact off each other. And like, yeah, they're like I have watched the Chris Evans Fantastic Four a non-zero amount of times. Is it a good movie? No. Do I care? No. I like it because I'm not like super familiar with the characters. And the relationship between Johnny and Ben is so different because in that movie, Johnny is just an asshole. He is really mean. He is really toxic. I just feel bad for Ben. And you're like, no, these two are brothers. Like they're not related. That's obviously Johnny and Sue. But you can tell it's like, no, these two care about each other. They like each other a lot. They will they'll shit talk each other. They'll give each other some grief, but they are genuinely a family. And I really, really loved that. All right, what do we got next? Next we have The Running Man. Honestly, I don't even think I'm going to move it from the B tier. That's kind of how I felt about it. I was really excited for this. I've not read the. Actually, I probably. Let me go and find The Long Walk so I could get both of my Stephen King movies done. Okay, so these were the two Stephen King movies I watched this year. I think The Monkey also came out, but I didn't watch it. Sounds incredible, like especially after watching all the Final Destination movies. I would love to watch The Monkey. But I saw these two Stephen King movies, and when I saw ads for The Running Man, I was really excited for it. I thought this looked really fun. I'm someone that like I love me a good death game. I am so excited for the like Danganronpa remix to come out this year because even though it's the same cast as Danganronpa 2, it's a different scenario. So I basically get a new Danganronpa game. I am excited for this shit. And like, okay, this sounds like an interesting premise, like for a death game. I want to see this. This sounds cool. This sounds fun. And I thought it was okay. Like, partially, I thought the game itself was fine. And I thought the commentary of the film, even though it's some stuff that I agreed with, like, it's very on the nose and it's okay. And The Long Walk is something where when I saw it advertised, I didn't really have a lot of interest in it because I had no idea even what it was about. I think when I saw the ads, like this is like a military movie, like it looked like a boot camp kind of thing. And then I actually looked into because I think I was hearing some reviews like, oh, this movie's amazing. Like this is one of the best movies to come out this year. And I was like, okay, what actually is it about? Oh, oh, this sounds gripping. Dude, like let me give this a watch. And I loved it. It is one of those movies I watched this year that is just really stuck with me. I think it is one of the best movies I watched this year. It is very disturbing in a lot of different ways. But it's a movie where it's like there's definitely its commentary as well, and some of it is kind of on the nose, but there's these other elements of it that resonated with me or just like really had me thinking about stuff. and that's something I appreciate. Like, I would honestly put it up here, like, I'm still kinda not sure which I like more between Sinners and The Long Walk, so I'm just gonna put them in double S. There we go. Alright, what else we got? Now I can talk about the 2 Transformers movies I watched this year. So, I don't think we did a double feature of Transformers 1 and the Transformers, like the OG animated '80s film, but I watched it maybe a couple days after because 'cause I'd never seen it before. So, short version, this is this is a prequel. I don't know how much of it is canon because with Transformers having, like, a gajillion series plus comics and shit, I don't really know what the canon is. But I thought this was a cool origin story. I liked the visuals, I liked the action, I really liked the relationship. This feels weird to say, as I really like the relationship and like the brotherhood between Optimus Prime and Megatron. So when they split and Megatron gives his like, no, I'm done saving you and lets him go. I really like that. And like what I love about that scene in particular is that when Optimus falls, Megatron still goes to grab his hand. Is like almost like, no, like I can't let you fall. Like even if at that point he made his decision, it was still so ingrained in him to try to save Optimus. And then says, no. Like I really liked it. Um like I love Keegan Michael Key, but a Bumblebee was not it in this movie, man. It did not work. But I don't think I'd put it in S, but I'd probably put it in A plus, maybe an I had a really good time with it. This I'd probably put in like B plus. No, I think I'd leave it in B. You know what? No, I'm gonna put it in B plus. And you want to know why? I will give you three. I can explain why in 3 words. Orson Welles Unicron. Dude, it's so cool. Just some of his lines, it's like, now I'm summoned Megatron. Then it like, oh, that's so cool. Or just, you're I'm just gonna do like a deeper voice. That's not really how he sounds because he's super mechanical, but it works for me. Very well. Like, oh, I just love the shit that he says. And yeah, he's this big old ball, and then he turns into a big dude, and I don't know, then they kinda kick his ass. It's a little anticlimactic, but it's fun. It's cool, and then you get like, the whole thing with the touch, it's a great song, it's fun, and then I've seen it kind of like with Speed Racer, there's an edit of the climax of this film to the touch, and it kicks ass, and I love it, and it's great. Let's see. Ron Aries. I don't really know where to rank this either, because on the one hand, this is a movie that's lingered with me a lot more than I thought it would. And it's just that scene between Ares and Flynn, where he's trying to explain his love of Depeche Mode and essentially saying, I don't have the words for this. Like, I know how I feel, and I know this is important, but it's difficult, if not impossible, for me to really articulate it because that's something I understand very well. But if I'm being honest, it also, in the context of the film, very much feels more like, yeah, this is this thing that I like and I've gotten super into kind of out of nowhere, and I can't really articulate it because I'm sort of full of shit. Because a lot of the writing and characterization in this movie felt underbaked, but the visuals were great and the soundtrack was great. And occasionally there are those moments where I'm like, there's like a really good movie in here. And it's fine. Like, if I'm being honest, I think it's probably B plus. I said I'm not doing A minuses, but I feel like this is probably the movie that feels most accurate to an A minus. So I think I'm going to. I know I had said it earlier, but here we go. Prawn Aries to me is like the A minus movie. Maybe I could do that for CCA. Let me give that a shot. Because again, this one I don't just remember it as well. So I wanna. I don't know. I kind of almost do want to give it here because that feels probably accurate. This feels kind of accurate. That definitely B plus. Okay, now I kind of want to put this back in B plus. This feels right. Then let's put it in C because the ending is really bad. No, I would say it's still B. Nothing in C or D yet. Maybe those tiers just aren't going to exist. Okay, okay. Twilight. Okay, this is actually probably a C tier. I think that works. Like I had said in my book tier list, I read Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined, Teenage Kraken. And it's the gender swap version of Twilight, but it's basically the exact same book. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a good time with it. And like, I think the day I finished it or the next day, I just threw on Twilight, and I'm like, yeah, this is basically the book I just read, except the genders are what they originally were. It's not great. It's not awful. But there's that moment with a shirtless, glowing, glittering Robert Pattinson going, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella." And I probably laughed harder at that than like I don't know if I can say anything else this year because I laughed really hard at that bit in Playtime and throughout the entirety of War of the Worlds. But to be honest, I feel like this is just like a C film. So there's that. Okay, we're running out of movies. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take everything else, put them here, and then we're gonna go as we go. Where are we at? Like an hour 20, hour 25-ish? Yeah, okay, about an hour and a half. And we have okay, so I had said an hour and a half. If I got like maybe 13 movies, I'll take a break. We have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine films. Okay. So, Wake Up Dead Man. One of my favorite movies this year. I made a video talking about it. Short version. I do like the mystery. I had my own theory as to what was happening, and I was completely off. I had super overthought the mystery. It is what it is. It happens. But the suspects that I had kind of on my list, I was right about that for the most part. I had someone on to put it like this, I had someone on the list that wasn't even a suspect at all. It's just kind of how it worked for me. I love the way this film talks about Christianity, of how there are people who believe it, there are people who use it, and there are people who kind of just hate it on its like just hate the idea of it. Whether that's because they just disagree fundamentally with the doctrine or they just see how it's used to control people. And I think the movie does a good job of explaining why someone can truly believe this and why someone else just can't. And that was something I found really moving. And it's hard to say what my favorite scene in the movie is. Like I love the ending and just the come on to the house. Like I like oh gosh, like that's lingered with me a lot throughout the year. Or, Mr. Benoit Blanc just like playing with the hub of lard that is Josh Brolin's. Just scene is so funny. But sorry, brain stop for a second. What really lingers with me is Father Judd having that conversation with what was her name? Like Justine, Josephine. I might be completely wrong about that. But with that one woman, and he's trying to get the information out of her, and she's just kind of going in multiple directions. You can feel his frustration that he just wants to like cut her off. And then she asks him for prayer, and because of just what's going on in her life. And then Judd just goes into priest mode, and not in a fake way of like, okay, well, all right, now like let me kind of get centered, let me be a priest and blah blah blah. It is just genuinely this person is now coming to me for aid, and I'm going to receive that. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be gentle because this is no longer about me and what I need. This is just about what they need. And I loved that. Um, like I will just straight up say, I think of the films I saw in 2025, these were of the movies that came out this year. These are my 3 favorites, and I'm not sure which one is my favorite. Like I could kind of say either one of the 3 and it would feel right. So like they're all S plus movies for sure. Maybe they're all double S movies. I don't know. I'll probably just leave it like that. Quest for Camelot. Oh, with this potion I got from some witches. Drink some water. Oh my gosh, this movie's incredible. It's not good. I watched this movie a lot. I saw it a lot as a kid. This was me like rewatching it, reevaluating it, and yeah, it's pretty terrible. Like a lot of the songs feel kind of pointless, and Ruber is just a lot. And there's a lot of the movie where Kaylee isn't really doing much, or at least not being particularly helpful. But I feel like she gets better as it goes along, and it's it is certainly a film. It is certainly an experience. I'm probably gonna keep it in B because I don't care that a lot of the movie. You know what? If Shark Boy and fucking Lava Girl's in B plus, I'm gonna put Quest for Camelot in B plus because I still love it. It's not good, but I still love it and I don't care. Um, Weapons. I still don't really know what I think about Weapons because I was going to make a video on it and I had a script and I was ready to go, and then I just kept not getting around to it. And I don't remember why. I don't remember if I was just like, I'm just not in the mood, or if there was part of it where I'm like, I just don't really want to talk about it. I think I eventually reached a point of like, it's been too long since I've seen it. Excuse me. And I don't know how much I care enough to talk about it. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it with a group of friends, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I was glad I saw it, but I'll say this. I liked the mystery and trying to figure out what was going on. It's a movie that doesn't have the most likable cast, but in a way that kind of works, where everyone feels like these are desperate and flawed people, which I think does make them really engaging. I like our antagonist, but I'm also like, do I really like the direction it went? Like, I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. I think once I understood like what the eponymous weapons are and how it worked, I just kind of went, huh? Uh, okay, sure. But then you get like the last, I don't know, 5 minutes, like 10 minutes, maybe, however long that scene is. And regardless of what I thought of the rest of the film, like the last 5 to 10 minutes made everything worth it. To the point where I am up because I wanted to watch it in theaters. Just like Clay and I meant to do it. We just could never get our schedules to line up. I am so upset that I didn't get to watch Weapons in a crowded theater. because that alone, like with a whole crowd reacting, would have been platinum. And so I'm like, I respect the movie a lot. Like, I honestly think I am gonna put it an A minus. I know I was like A minus. I'm not gonna do anything with that. It's just A's and A pluses. I'm like, I feel like I kind of need an A minus, and I think that's where Weapons goes. So K-pop Demon Hunters. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and call an audible. I'm just gonna delete the D tier because none of these other films are gonna be in this tier. Oh, oops, my bad. Delete, delete. Yeah. Okay. None of these are gonna end up going into D tier. K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I think it's fine. I don't real like. I get it, and I don't get it because this movie took the world by storm. You know, like there's like live showing or not live, but it's like now it's being played in theaters, and there's like musical showings, and you see the songs like everywhere. This took over the world. I'm like, okay, I like it's a movie about K-pop stars fighting demons. This sounds like something I would love. This sounds like a blast. Let's go. Yeah, that was okay. Like I thought the songs were good. Maybe not great, but like I thought it was solid. And I thought like the visuals and the animation and everything, like it looks good. It's I think part of it is this movie got so popular and was so hyped up, and like my sister is some like my sister and I both love anime. Like we watched a bunch of anime together, and then she's like, "Dude, you gotta watch, you gotta watch, you gotta watch it." And then I have another friend who does not watch anime, like does not give a shit about any of this kind of stuff, and it's like, "Dude, you gotta watch it." Like when she's telling me this is something that I need to watch, like I'm, oh, all right, okay, everyone's getting into this. So I am expecting like the best movie ever kind of thing. And I'm like, I've seen this movie before. This is a story I've seen a lot. So I'm not really impressed. And I've seen this art style before because it has that very like Puss in Boots, Spider-Verse sort of vibe to it. Like Last Wish, Puss in Boots, not the first one. But I think I enjoyed it in those movies a little bit more. And the whole like, all right, here's like musicians fighting monsters and shit. I'm like, okay. It's been a long time since I watched Hi Hi Puffing Ame Yumi. But I've seen that. So I've seen this idea before. And it hasn't been that long since I watched Symphogear. And Symphogear is goated. Symphogear is okay. We are like a pop idol group that fights demons. And it is the most insane, crazy bullshit. And Symphogear just keeps topping itself. And I think it's a combination of I have seen this kind of story done before, and I've seen this specific premise before, and I've seen this specific premise perfected. And it's like one of my favorite anime of all time. And it's been so hyped up that I'm expecting something of that quality, if not better. And I think it's good. Like, it really is. But I was left underwhelmed, but glad enough that I saw it. I mean, if I'm being honest, like I think for my enjoyment, it's probably around like a C, C plus, but I think that is because of how much hype it had. I think if I just watched this on its own, it was like K-pop Demon Hunters. That sounds fun. I probably been like, yeah, this was fun. I liked this. This is like a like I've seen it before, but like it's cool. It's neat. I maybe it would have been like an A minus or like a B plus. I don't know, but I think I am just gonna keep it in B because I do respect it because of yeah how it just fucking took over the world. but I do respect it more than I like it. Um, like, man, I really have it a tier below Quest for Camelot and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. That feels so mean, but I don't know, like, those movies, to different degrees, left some kind of impact on me. I'm gonna put this in A+. plus. Gee, do I wanna put it in an S? I am gonna put it in an S. I'm gonna put Zootopia 2 in S because of the ending. Because of that scene where Nick and Judy have couples therapy with each other, and they're like, "Okay, this is why I am in avoidance. Well, this is why I have anxious attachment." Like, oh, like I understand what, like, they don't use those words exactly. Like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what they're doing. This is great. I understand this. But I talked about it in my video on the movie. I think it's one of the best versions of a twist villain because it does like the one aspect of a twist villain that I've been really wanting to see, and they did it, and they did it perfectly. Um, it does the Disney sequel thing of, hey, so here's our couple, here's our like two main leads, whether they are romantic or not. You can argue with Nick and Judy. I think by the end of the first movie, I was like, I see this as more platonic, and they're like, you love me. Do I though? Yeah, I do. It's like I saw it as more platonic. Here, like, okay, that there's a lot of romantic tension and chemistry throughout this film. But the communication issues that they run into throughout the film feel natural. Like, it's like, no, it makes a lot of sense that Nick would act and react like this, and it makes a lot of sense that Judy would act and react like this because of the people that they are, because of the traumas that they have. And when they talk about that at the end of the film, I think that's when not to say the movie didn't come together for me before that, but that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, this movie works because it's not just some like, oh yeah, there was a big misunderstanding and I thought you meant this, but blah 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 blah. It is okay. Let me really explain to you why I am the way that I am. And it's helpful to get that out because I'm also kind of admitting it to myself. Like, let me be really vulnerable and let you in, and that's scary. Okay, I see that and I respect that, and I'm going to match that. And that really worked for me. I don't think I can put it up here, but I can put it here. Maybe I'm just gonna go ahead and make that S plus, and we're gonna figure this out. I said like this is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I might just put it down in S plus. I don't know. I think this is going in S plus. Hmm. I don't even know if I want to put Speed Racer in S plus, but I don't know. I almost kind of do. I don't know. I guess we'll do that. That feels fair and right. And then with these three, I don't know. Maybe I just want to keep Silent Voice all alone in S, and then it's like y'all three are in S plus. I think if I'm doing that though, like I could maybe keep this up here. I think I would have to move you back down. Mm. So we kind of like that. I fuck with that pretty hard. Okay, okay. I think we got something. I think we got something figured out. Okay, Naked Gun. This was really fun. This was a really entertaining, funny movie. I have not watched the other Naked Gun films. I know my friends were doing a marathon of them. I just didn't get around to joining them on it, but I watched them for this. I I loved it. I thought it was great. I say this is one of my favorite movies. I don't think I would. I would put it in A plus for sure. Soul definitely goes here. Yeah, I was gonna put it down here. I'm like, no, I can't. I have to put it in S plus. This is a movie that still resonates with me really hard. And I remember watching it because I was making a list of like my favorite animated films, I think of this century. And I think I was either I didn't include Soul or it like just missed like one particular number or something. I don't exactly remember, but I rewatched it and thought this didn't hit me as much as it did the first time, but it still hits me and it still affects me and I love it. And then like my next few months were just kind of rough for various reasons. And I found Soul was resonating with me more in those rougher months than it was when I was feeling more okay, just kind of thinking about it. Like this is one that did stick with me and lingered with me. I think it should have either made my list if it didn't, or it should have been higher on the list than it was. This, yeah. Okay, if any movie was gonna get the D tier, it'd probably be Snow White. Not to say it doesn't deserve F. It's terrible. It's an absolute mess, but it does have Gal Gadot going. Yeah, it has Gal Gadot going. Are you like just turning into Scooby like halfway through a line delivery, which was amazing. Um, the new songs aren't like good, and the dwarves look horrible. But then, like the hunter prince guy, whatever, has his own band of seven dwarves that were heavily underutilized to the point where they were probably supposed to be the seven dwarves, essentially. But then they had to add them in, and oh gosh, they look terrible. There's the whole thing with Dopey, like essentially like having a disability, but because he like believes hard enough, gets over it, which I really, yeah, I'm keeping it enough. This is not a good film. Is really bad. And there's the whole bit of the queen going to the mirror and be like, "Look, I got her heart. I got her heart." Because in the original, she does that because there's actually a heart in the box. She doesn't know it's a pig's heart. She wouldn't know that. I don't know. Maybe as a witch she should, but I believe that she wouldn't know the difference. She was like, "Yeah, there's a heart in here." Well, Snow White's in here. I'm the fairest of the land. And I don't remember exactly the line, but it's probably something like, she's still the fairest in the land. It's the heart of a pig you have in your hand. She's like, "Oh, what the hell?" And gets mad at the huntsman. Here, there's nothing in the box. So when the dude, like, it number one means the huntsman did all this shit and didn't even fake to put something in the box because he just assumed the queen wouldn't look, which is really, really stupid. But then he's proven right because the queen didn't even look. Like, you would think if I want her dead because like she's a threat to my rule because she's the princess and she's a threat to my vanity because she's the fairest in the land, you'd think you'd open the ding dang box. Ooh. Ooh. Better at this movie than I realized I was. I remember watching me like, this is awful, this is terrible. But I've already made my peace going in because I know what it's going to be. I know how bad it is, and I think it's worse than him. Okay. Okay. I think we are gonna add the D tier. No, 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 no. Like you're still bottom of the fucking barrel movie. You don't get to move up Final Destination 4. Tell you what. I will move him up to D because I don't think it's not good, but I don't think it's as bad as Snow White. And I think Snow White, like I really didn't like Wickeder, but I think it's oh gosh, I just said it's like F is F. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do an F plus. Or an F plus. Because I still think it's an F tier movie. Like I don't think it worked. I hated it, but it's not Snow White. But do I just want to put it in D? I I'm either gonna make a D minus or an F plus. And as much as I don't want to do F plus, because like, look, F is F. A failure is a failure. There is something really, really funny. Like, I think there was an episode of the Romeo Show starring Lil Romeo and Master P, where Romeo got an F plus on a test, and he talks to his teacher about it, and he's like, how, why did I get an F plus? Like, what's the plus for? To which he's like, well, you spelled your name right. Oh, I almost want to say that Wickeder. It's like, look, man, I really did not like this. I did not like almost any of the decisions that were made by the characters. I don't like a lot of the songs. I think the ending doesn't work for a whole lot of reasons, but it's not Snow White. Like, you spelled your name right, so it's an F. Oh my gosh! I'm like, should I just do a D minus? No, that's too nice. Oh, it's F. Um, so that leaves one more film. Ice Cube's War of Thoughts. Oh, I gotta drink some water. Oh boy. This is one of the movies of all time. This is probably the worst movie I saw this year. Okay, I can't say that because you got Cats all the way here in the Shadow Realm. But this is probably on the tier of like Final Destination 4. It is it feels cheap. It looks cheap. Like, the effects are terrible, the acting is terrible. It feels like there was like zero effort put into this film. When Ice Cube is on a Skype call with the president of the United States, he's like, "All right, it's time to initiate Operation War of the Worlds," which is basically actual dialogue. You know you're in for a time. When the climax of this film on Amazon Prime involves using Amazon Prime to save the day, you know you're watching a film. When Ice Cube's whole character is, I'm the like basically the NSA guy who watches all your stuff because I'm trying to find terrorists and blah blah blah. And I have this really creepy relationship with my kids because of how I'm always spying on them. But his kid is a terrorist and he somehow never found out about that. You know you're in for a film. Like, it's bad. It's really bad. I was also probably more entertained by this movie than maybe anything else I saw this year. So, like, in terms of its quality, it's like here. But in terms of my enjoyment, it's like an S tier movie because I loved it. I loved how bad it was. I loved how blatant it was. It did not give a shit about anything. And so I didn't. It was lovely. I I can't recommend it enough, but you have to know what you're getting into. You have to be in that mindset of this movie doesn't care, so neither should I. And I look, I'm lying if I said it's not. I'm lying if I said it's not up here. To be perfectly honest, like, yes, it is a terrible film. It's so bad. This is how much I enjoyed watching Ice Cube's Ice Cube's the world. It was an S plus tier film. Oh man. Okay. That's everything. Now let's go down the list. So Cats is down in the Shadow Realm. That's accurate. Like, this is the film that should not exist and should not be made, but the world is maybe better for it because it just got to experience the fever dream that is McCartney. Bottom of the fucking barrel, yes. F, yes. Arguably, I should put Snow White in bottom of the fucking barrel and then put Wickeder in F. That's maybe fair. That's maybe accurate. But I'm sorry, just seeing Wickeder with an F plus is so funny to me that I'm keeping it. That feels right. This is maybe too low, maybe, but I think it's about right. Yes, to me, this is definitely B. I don't think I liked it enough to give this a B plus. This to me is definitely also B. This is the only one where I'm like, should I bump it up or down? Did I respect it more than I like it, or did I actually like it? I think with all the problems the movie has, I'll put it like this. I think here's the best way of saying it. These are not dissimilar films where I think they're bad, and I think they're kind of both like so bad it's good. I think the difference is the things in FNAF 2 that make it so bad it's good, that put the bad in so bad it's good, actively detracted from my enjoyment watching it. But a lot of the other stuff I enjoyed either because of like the genuine craftsmanship, like of the animatronics, or like some of the performances and voice acting. But yeah, there's problems. Here, yeah, like there's problems, but the problems are what make it fun. Like this is on a tier of something like The Room. And yeah, like I would put The Room in S plus. Like it's one of my favorite movies ever. This I feel like is about right. And then Transformers, like, yeah, is like a B plus. Like it's maybe too low. It's maybe slightly too low, but I don't know if I think it's really A minus. I feel like I respect it. I like it fine. I'm definitely really glad I saw it. You know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna put it in A minus. I think I want to. This feels about right. CCA A minus. I think A minus feels more accurate than B plus, because I have come around to liking CCA, but I'm not gonna defend it super hard. Tron Ares again is kind of similar. Like it's lingered with me, and the presentation of the movie is amazing, but there's a lot that don't work. Or let's see, there's a lot that doesn't work. I don't know. I think I'm gonna bump it up slightly because of how much like how great the soundtrack and the visuals are. I'm gonna put it at least up there. Weapons feels right. Like I just put Transformers up here. I think I'll keep it. Mission Impossibles, I think that's right. It's just been a while since I've seen it, but I'm gonna keep it there. Yes. Do I want to put these in A minus? With the problems I have with them, and then put Bloodlines in A, because I don't actually know if I want Bloodlines in A plus. But I think if I do put 2 and 3 in A minus, and then Bloodlines in A plus. By the way, I'm not actually ordering the tiers themselves. Like if you're all in the same tier, you're all in the same tier. Um, that feels a bit more right. That feels a bit more right. I like having Labyrinth and Dolls in the same tier. Elio, do I want to say Elio is? I do think I've come around on the movie enough. It's kind of like with Tron Ares, where it's lingered with me enough that I want to have it in at least A, but I don't think I would put it higher. And then the concert film, I had a really good time with. Do I want to put that up here? I think First Steps I do want to keep here. Sorry, I don't even know why I was moving it like that. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to. Do I want to put you here? I do really like Talking Heads. No, might as well. Okay. Return to Oz. Do I want to put it in S? I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to put Shin in S. I don't think I'm going to put Killer Clowns in S or Transformers in S. Actually, do I even want to have this in A plus? Should I keep it in just A? No, I think A plus works. This on sheer entertainment is definitely A plus for sure. Like this is the one that I could maybe see going into S. Okay, that feels about right. Okay. Do I want to bump anyone up to an S plus? Speed. Do I want to put speed down to A plus? I don't. I want to keep it an S. I don't think it goes into S plus. This is the Wizard of Oz. This is the Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon. I think I could go S plus. I don't know. Just looking at Ice Cube's War of the Worlds, above the Wizard of Oz. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. So maybe I shouldn't put this in S plus. Maybe I should just put this in S. Oh, and I like how that lines up. Oh, it's great. Okay. Final destination, yes. Playtime, yes. Boom. Could I flip these two? Because then it would still be accurate. Uh, I think I'm gonna leave it here. Again, there's some things like maybe this could get bumped up, maybe this should get bumped back up because of how much I enjoyed watching it, but I don't think I would put it on the same tier as these other movies, if I'm being honest. I think I'm going to leave it here. So this is my tier list. So this is my last tier list of 2025 media, and I got it done before February. Huzzah! So yeah, I think that's it. I don't know the next time I'll do a tier list. I was thinking yesterday, I was like, maybe I should do these for Pokemon. Just like, all right, here's the original 151. Put them in tiers. All right, here's the next 100 from Johto. Let's put them in tiers. Like that's a lot to like. This was 40 things, and this was 2 hours. I don't know how long ranking 151 Pokemon would take because it might just be like, look, man, like Rhyhorn's cool. I guess I'll put him in like B, but he's not an A tier and like shit like that. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. But either way, this is done. And I'm probably either going to do some writing or I'm just going to play some trails.